Today, we'll cover the easiest stars to get in Super Mario Galaxy 2, at least in my humble opinion. Green stars won't count, maybe I'll save that for another top 10. Without further ado, let's go.
Number 10.
Our first star is in Boulder Bowl Galaxy. You gotta romp up some crabs by rolling. You're given 1 minute to complete this star. All you really have to do is kill all the crabs on this tiny spherical planet. You'll do this mainly as Rock Mario. Now, I can see a lot of people disagreeing with me because the time limit is a bit strict and Rock Mario can be hard to control because when you turn, it isn't very sharp. I personally have never struggled killing all the crabs within the time limit. What makes this star easy is the fact that the planet itself is not only quite small, but also transparent. It's made with what I guess you could call metal grates, and you can basically see through the planet. It's not that easy to see, but it is enough so that you can see where all the crabs are. What really makes this star simple is that the crabs are usually grouped together, allowing you to string combos as you plow through them. There have been times where I'll have really bad luck with the crab's placement, and I can't complete the star in time, but that's rarely an issue. If this star had a longer time limit or no time limit at all, it would probably be near number 1 on this list.
Number 9.
Next is from Boo Moon Galaxy, titled Haunting the Howling Tower. You'll start off on this really dark planet with one light beaming down towards you surrounded by really tall walls. It's quite frankly very cool looking. Anyway, you need to find a green pipe to take you to the next section. While it's a bit of a maze finding your way around, it's nothing too complicated. The only thing that can get in your way are the boos, but even then a simple shake will spin them out of your path. After that, you're taken to this haunted house area, and for the rest of the star, you play as Boo Mario navigating your way around. Sometimes to get through certain parts, you'll need to shake the remote so Mario will go invisible for a second, and there's a few Octoboos and spiny hermits in your path, but honestly, it's really easy avoiding them. They don't really obtrude your path because of how slowly they move. Now the only part that's ever given me trouble is the very end. You have to move up this narrow path and there's these Octoboos that are moving side to side. To get past them, you need to really time your floats correctly. I guess that's what you'd call them. They aren't jumps or hops, so we're calling them floats. I also love how the game gives you a checkpoint once you get to the Boo Mario section, because that first part, oh man, all those boos, all those one-ups. Whew, it's just brutal. This one is a lot easier than the star we just talked about because there's no time limit and there's plenty of Boo power-ups you can collect in case you do end up getting hit.
Number 8.
Now on to Slimy Spring Galaxy. This star is the Deep Shell Well. Basically, all you do is you swim underwater or take a Koopa shell through a bunch of different paths. Some of the enemies you'll find will try to get in your way, including Snoodles and Urchins. The other ones are kind of just there for decoration. The thing about this star is that for the most part, you can complete it with or without the Koopa shell. The Koopa shell obviously makes the swimming much more manageable and faster, but it's still possible to go through without one. But I don't know who wouldn't want a Koopa shell anyway. The caverns are pretty wide and open, making it easy to swim through. Since there's a little light on the Koopa shell, simply shine the light towards the heads of the Snoodles and they'll poof out of existence. The Urchins don't disappear nearly as easily, but they're still easy to avoid. There's a section with a bunch of Urchins rolling down this hill, and while it may look intimidating, everything moves slowly enough that it's easy to get through without getting hit. Heck, you can even smash through the brick wall just by holding the shell. The second part of the star introduces these speed rings that, when you go through them, you gain a huge chunk of speed. I find these to be really fun because I'm a speed junkie, please don't take that too seriously, and it brings a little adrenaline into an otherwise boring star. I found that sometimes I'll lose my shell because I'm going too fast, but even then I can just grab another one because there's always an extra nearby. You can even go through the speed rings without the shell and get a lot of speed. After the rings, there's another Urchin section, which is a bit harder than the first one, but even if you get hit, you'll easily make it to the surface without losing air. To get the star inside the chest, you'll need a shell to bust it open. The game was nice enough to have a spare shell on the land in case you do lose yours in the water. This star really makes me feel like it's just holding my hand along with the ride. While you may get hit by something once or twice, there's always backup for you. You get help every step of the way.
Number 7.
Our next star is Bowser on Ice from Freezy Flake Galaxy. That image kind of disturbs me. I don't ever want to see Bowser on ice. So you'll start off on this tiny snow planet, and you gotta grab the fire flower and bust open a Goomba snow statue. Why you have to use the fire flower to bust up the snow instead of just spinning is beyond me. Maybe it's actually ice underneath. Anyway, after that you'll grab another fire flower and destroy the huge Bowser sculpture with 3 fireballs. Then you go down some slide thing, grab another fireball, and find the entrance to the pipe. Once you go through the pipe, you're at the hardest part of this star. Well, I almost wouldn't say hard, it's just more annoying. You have to roll these snowballs through the lava to get from one snowy platform to the next. I really love the idea behind these, but the snowballs are very touchy. Oftentimes I roll them one way and it doesn't go the way I want it to. Again, you have to get another fire flower, head over to another huge Bowser sculpture, hit that with 3 fireballs, and you'll get your star. The enemies here are pretty much non-existent. I mean, yeah, there's little burrs and little cinders hanging out, but they move really slowly and are very likely to not get in your way. The only thing that might hurt you is the lava in the final section of this star, but that's very unlikely since there's so many snowballs you can use. Plus, you can run through little cinders using the snowballs, which is pretty hilarious.
Number 6.
And now, we gotta search for the Toad Brigade captain in the Fluffy Bluff Galaxy. What makes this star so easy is the fact that we get to use one of the best and most overpowered power-ups ever created in Mario's history, the Cloud Flower. The power-up that not only increases the length and height of your jumps, but also gives you 3 additional jumps as well. What you basically do is run through clouds, buildings, trees, and more using the Cloud Flower. All the jumps are really easy and the enemies won't give you any trouble. There's a couple parts where there's water, and touching the water will rid you of the power-up, but you can easily find another Cloud Flower nearby. There's also a small section where the planet is covered in a light coating of water, and you need to collect 5 star bits to build a launch star. I find it hilarious that the game adds in cosmic clones to try to make this part more challenging, even though it won't in the slightest. This entire section is completely open, so if a cosmic clone were to get in the way, there wouldn't be any land that could block your path. Oh, and spoiler alert, the monkey actually has your star, not Captain Toad.
Number 5.
Next up in Cosmic Cove Galaxy, we've got the Twin Falls Hideaway Star. You start off on some beach, and then you have to swim through this small body of water. Thankfully you can find a Koopa shell to speed up the process, but it's incredibly tedious swimming due to the fact that there's virtually no enemies to worry about. After that you swim to this tower, ground pound this big red switch, and all the water turns into ice. This looks really neat to be honest, and I really like the concept of being able to do that instantaneously. So after that you'll ice skate yourself to this frozen waterfall, then you'll simply wall jump up the waterfall and spin attack the crystal with the star inside. This star is really short to complete, and the only things that might get in your way are a couple of the snoodles near the beginning. Even if you were to get hit by those, there's more than enough time for you to catch air to get to a safe area. With the slimy spring star, you were kind of trapped under the water, but here that's just not the case. I think they could have done a lot more with the switches, but hey, it's a nice relaxing mission.
Number 4.
This star completely baffles me, to be real with you. Coming from the Mario Squared Galaxy, we have Make Mario a Star. So in case you didn't know, this used to be known as one of the hardest stars in Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, that's right, one of the hardest. There's been a few changes in the Mario Galaxy 2 version though. So the idea is to turn all of the blue switches yellow by running over them. Once you do that, you can access the star. You'll have to run across these green platforms that disappear after you step on them. This may sound difficult, but it really isn't, especially compared to what it was like in Mario Galaxy 1. You can simply long jump around, giving yourself plenty of space for returning to the star. Doing this makes it incredibly easy. There's some little cinders that try to get in your way, but they won't be a problem. See, in the first game, you had to collect 100 purple coins instead, but the platforms themselves were different. You had the green disappearing ones like in this game, but you also had yellow ones that when you touched them, they would start spinning non-stop. Plus, instead of lava, there was this goo-like substance that would instantly kill you if you touched it. To think that they went from that to this is just mind-blowing to me. Once you do get all the switches, the camera zooms out showing a green Mario, and it looks like he's about to barf.
Number 3.
And now to the Cloudy Court Galaxy, we have the Shadow Lining. this is where the stars go from being easy to you can hand this to your 3-year-old brother to do blindfolded. So you start by collecting 5 star bits. Some cosmic clones will follow you, but again, they really don't make it hard because of how simple the path is that you have to take. Once you do that, you basically just go forward, jumping around, doing some wall jumping, and more clones are coming after you. As long as you don't mess up your movement, there's no reason at all to be worried. You're literally just going for a nice stroll, having a good old time, catching some star bits here and there. For the final section, you have to bust open a crystal to access your star, and that's it. This star might seem hard because the ground just kind of shows up when you get near it, but it's completely obvious where you need to go. This star is a cakewalk.
Number 2.
And now to the Honey Bloom Galaxy, where you gotta do the secret wall jump. Now, to be fair, this star isn't the easiest to find your first time playing. It is hidden rather well, but once you do figure it out, this star can be beaten in like 30 seconds flat. All you do after swinging on the vine is grab this rope swing thing, then do a spin jump at a wall high in the air, proceed by wall jumping, and just continue to wall jump. Once you get to the top, there's the star. You see how simple that is? This feels like a star you would complete in Super Mario 64. It's kind of out of the way and very quick. That in itself is really great to me, but that doesn't change the fact that this is stupid easy. Unless you have trouble starting your wall jump or continuously wall jumping, there's really no reason to struggle at all. The only thing you need to do before wall jumping is maybe kill the Goomba near the rope swing, but that's about it. So we're about to get to number 1 on this list, and I have a feeling that some of you might disagree with me on this, so let's see. And now the number 1 easiest Super Mario Galaxy 2 star is... And coming in at number 1 from Wild Glide Galaxy, we have Fluttered's First Flight. The objective is to fly down this hill thingy, and then you get your star. There's no time limit to worry about, you aren't required to go through any specific rings, there's no enemies in your path. All you need to do is learn how the motion controls work and you're set. I think people won't agree on me because you are forced to use the motion controls, but I think they're really easy to use. If there's any games to use motion controls correctly, it would definitely be the Mario Galaxy franchise because they're simple, intuitive, and make sense for what they're supposed to be used for. It would have been nice if you had the option of using the joystick to control here, but regardless, it's still really simple. So make sure to drop a like and leave a comment telling me what you think the easiest stars are in Super Mario Galaxy 2 and why. Hop on the bandwagon and follow my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Thanks a bunch for watching, guys, and I hope you have a fantabulous day.